Hello, beloved and beautiful ones. This is Lorelei from the Tightrope to 5D Music Reactions, and welcome or welcome back. And if you wonder about that strange title, these days I'm bringing you a message about this historic shift from third dimensional consciousness to fifth dimensional consciousness for the entire planet. I'm doing that after about every other video, and this is a message video, so I do hope you stick around to the end. But let us get to Zhou Shen doing The Lonely Goatherd, and he's pretty young here. Check it out.
最好的展现出来就好。
请开始你演唱。
He walks the long mile. Yeah, you can see that he was quite young here. He's kind of nervous, you can see.
High on the hill was a lowling goatherd, lay oh the lay oh the lay oh. Low was a forest, lowling goatherd, lay oh the lay oh the la. Fast in the town was a quiet motor, lay oh the lay oh the lay oh. Lost in the clear from the goatherd throat, lay oh the lay oh the la.
Oh, already I'm in love with it. I'm in love with it already. Oh my goodness. He's so awesome. And listen to his voice. He's so great at it. Look at them. Look at the look on this guy's face. Oh my goodness. They're in shock. I love this song anyway. Who could not like this song, right? The sound of music and everything. By the way, don't forget, friends, I have my member tiers now. So if you would like to see some more, some special things for you, or some 5D content, go check out the video on that. Let's continue. I'm going to go back a tad. Here we go.
Lost in the clear from the goatherd throat, lay oh the lay oh the la. Oh, oh, lay oh the lay oh lo, oh, lay oh the lo. Oh, oh, lay oh the lay oh, lay oh the lay oh lo.
咱们有他们没有的，然后可爱。
A praise on the bridge of the castle motor, lay oh the lay oh the lay, ha ha. Man on the road with a load to total, lay oh the low. Man in the midst of a table total, lay oh the lay oh the lay, oh. Man drinking beer with the farmer floater, lay oh the lay.
这是我看他最放松的一次。
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You know, and I think that this probably is where he was truly embracing, himself, and his ability to sing in the high ranges. He was like, I'm just going to throw all caution to the wind, and I'm doing the Lonely Goatherd. And he did it, just embracing his kind of special gift. Who cares what anybody else thinks of it? And how amazing is it, right? When we do that, and oh boy, he's really doing it. By the way, friends, don't forget, if you're enjoying this, give me a like, give them a like later, and comment. Throw me a comment and tell me a little bit about when he did this performance and if I'm on the right track and whatever else like that. And anything you want to tell me. And don't forget to subscribe. Here we go.
Oh the lay, oh the lay. Oh, the lay, oh, the leo, leo, the leo, leo, oh, leo, the leo, leo, the leo, One little girl in a pale pink coat, leo, the leo, the leo. She yelled out to the loading goat, leo, leo, the la. Soon her mama with a gleaming goat, leo, the leo, the leo. Lo, the leo, the lo, the leo, 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 the la. Oh, happy day, oh, the lo, the leo, oh, the leo, the little leo. Soon the duet will become a trio. Lady, oh, the lady, oh, the loo. Oh, the lay, 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 oh, the lay. Oh, the lay, oh, the lay, oh, the lay, oh, the lay,
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, we got to hear that. We got to hear that again, the ending part again. Wow. Did he do a job there? I hope he won this. Please tell me he won this. If I hear he doesn't win this, I'm not going to be, if I hear he didn't win this, I'm not going to be a happy camper. So tell me he won this in the comments. If he didn't, yeah, better tell me anyway. But here we go.
Soon the duet will become a trio. Lady, oh the lady, oh the loo. Oh the lady, 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 oh the lady,
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, he rocked that. He rocked that. And I know most of you don't want to usually hear all this, the judges and all that kind of stuff. I'm looking to see, does he do anything else? No, he just walks off. Okay, so I'm not missing anything here, just the leaving. But anyway, most of you don't like to see that. But he rocked that, didn't he, guys? Oh my goodness, he did such a great job. And to hear that coming out of a male, they were in shock. Their mouths were down to their seats, you know. I just loved it, and I absolutely love this song anyway. It's so much fun. It's such a delight. And he did such a wonderful job with it and made it his own in different ways than we've heard in the music, for sure. He took it and like vamped it up however he wanted to do it, not how it had been done before, which made it even more extraordinary because you didn't know what to expect exactly, you know? So, oh my goodness, I just loved it. And I have to put it on my scale here. 1 being very third dimensional, fear, pain, sadness, anger, suffering. It's none of that. 10 being very fifth dimensional, love, peace, joy, bliss, fun, ease. I mean, beauty. So the beauty of the sound of it is in there. The fun, the joy, the life-giving. You got a little baby coming in, you know, and just silliness, just fun, silly, have a good time. That's a big part of 5D, by the way. Don't take life so serious. Have a good time. Enjoy yourself. Sing, dance, the whole business. So this is a very high vibrational song. So 10 is the highest, 1 is the lowest. I'm going with a 9.75. What a great job he did. It just lifted me up, and it didn't lift me up like some kind of angelic thing, which those things lift you too, but it just lifted me up in that fun, joyful place, right? You don't really need to work too hard. You can just have a good time. That's fifth dimension, right? Oh my goodness. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. So, and by the way, I want to just correct the record for the whole world while I got you in front of me. That, I love the movie, Sound of Music, but the story was changed appreciably, which really kind of annoyed me because the one who is the beau of, Lisa, I think it is. The one that was her beau was actually, he was a fighter of the Nazis, and he was killed by the Nazis. And they flipped it around and made him the bad guy, which kind of annoyed me. So I just want you guys to know that in the actual story of the Von Trapp family, that guy was a patriot who got killed for being a patriot. So there, we've set that record straight. And every time I see that movie, I love the movie so much, but that part gets under my skin because I've read the book and everything from the family. So I hope you appreciate that too. And spread the word. Make sure that poor gentleman's name gets cleared from what they did to him in that movie. Anyway, but yes, that was an absolutely wonderful, wonderful rendition of this song. And let's see, if you want to know a little bit about me, you can go to the About Me video here on this channel, which leads you to a longer video about what I call my Forged in the Fire journey of 3D. And I learned a lot, though, and I became a life coach, and I learned a lot about healing the body naturally, healed some really serious things. So if you want to know any of that kind of stuff that I might be able to help you with, you can go to About Lorelei on Patreon in the notes there. You can check that out. And also on there's a place if you'd like to show me a little love, give a donation. You also got Buy Me a Coffee here on the description, and that's always much appreciated. I appreciate those of you who have done that. Okay, beloved ones, let's get to our message here today. I wish I could read my own handwriting. Okay, on the necessity to upgrade our thinking because thoughts become things. So, when I was in personal growth and development, they had some courses, not tons of courses, a lot of courses that were talking about the fact that of the power of your thinking. And there was this saying, and I'll give this: thoughts become things. And I'll give credit to Landmark Education, or Landmark, I believe it's now called Landmark Worldwide. And I'll try to remember to put that in the notes for you, because those are very, very powerful courses. But they had this saying in one of their courses: thoughts become things. And when you first came in, you're like, oh yeah, thoughts become things, you're right. But then you saw person after person after person dealing with their baggage and their garbage. And you noticed that whatever that person was thinking was how the garbage in that one's life was showing up. Or if they were thinking positive, that was how that one's life was showing up in a positive sense. And you started to notice, though, that when they took the garbage out, which they have powerful ways to do that in those courses, by the way. I also help people with that sometimes if they're at a certain level. But yes, that's why I'm suggesting that. But if you took those thoughts out, literally got rid of them like they never existed, which is possible, then suddenly other things showed up in their lives. So we could begin to see, like really thoughts become things, right? So arguably thoughts become the occurrences in our life. Thoughts become whether we have money or not. So whether we have things or not, right? Thoughts become our relationships and how they're going with everybody in our life. Thoughts become whether we get on board and are doing the thing we love to do for creativity's sake or for the sheer joy of it, whether we're taking care of ourselves, whether we're taking taking care of our body. Thoughts become all of that. So like, for instance, my mom, God bless her, she's 94 years old, she's still trooping along, but she's always saying how she hates to exercise. So even now, right, she's said this her entire life. And even now, she's still saying how she hates to exercise. And it's hard to get her to even walk into, because if she thinks of it as exercise, right, I can hardly get her to walk out of her chair into the front room and back to the kitchen a couple of times, right? But if for instance, the girl that comes and helps with her says it in a different way, so it doesn't occur like exercise, she'll say it more like it's something fun to do or whatever. She gets up on her tippy toes, right, and goes up and down 10 or 12 times, right? So her thinking that it's exercise stops her in her tracks. She just won't do it. But her thinking that it's something fun, she'll do it. So this is the whole world of like thoughts become things. And if you consider it really how we understand the entire universe sprung from the creator, the prime creator's thought, the prime creator's consciousness saying, first of all, let there be light. And that was like the first creation of consciousness. And then that which the consciousness, the creator sort of embodied at that point. That's why divine light, that's why light is actually holy, right? The divine light of God, right? We all know that because it embodies the consciousness of the creator. So then from there began creating other things from thought, right? Creating thought. Thought creates more and more and more. And then, of course, coming down through the angels, the archangels, the ascended masters, everybody who then came thereafter, all the rest of them, when they certainly had their power and thoughts were becoming things, right? Anybody who was in their power in the higher dimensions, thoughts were creating planets, thoughts were creating suns, thoughts were creating galaxies, thoughts were creating all different kinds of life forms, all different kinds of life forms, to go see what it's like to have different kinds of life forms. Thoughts were creating all of this, right, in the higher vibrations. And then we come down to the third dimensional reality. And the thing is, here we are, here we sit, but we don't even realize it. It's still true. It's actually still true that all this time, our thoughts have been becoming things. Our thoughts were about wars, and so we had wars. Our thoughts have been about people getting harmed in various kinds of ways, and so we have all of that going on. Our thoughts, our thoughts are about earthquakes and and flood, fire, and famine, when we sit there and we watch this stuff on the news, right, and we're all focused on it, right, and then we have more of that. And you notice that just like the individual, whatever they're putting the focus on, whatever they believe, he or she believes, an individual, it's also true for the collective. Did you notice like that huge amount, for instance, of, I think it was hurricanes or tornadoes or a combo platter back a few years ago, like just one right on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other. Well, some say that there's a modification of the weather, which very well could be true. But nevertheless, however that was created, whether it was natural or not, it was still thoughts becoming things. Because here we were watching it, Wow. That's why I never will watch those kinds of things about tornadoes and devastation and all that, because I'm not going to put my divine focus on that. So thoughts become things. So this is just going to clue you in that after so many years of personal growth and development, it's absolutely 100% true, like 1,000% true, that our thoughts become things. And whatever we focus on in a certain direction is going to kind of go that way in our life. So then you say, well, how could you get to the fifth dimension of love, of peace, of joy, of bliss, of ease, of fun, of play, of brotherhood, of harmony? I mean, that's so opposite some of our thoughts, isn't it? Because thoughts become things. How in the world are we ever going to get there? And this is a very, very good question. But the good news is that it's actually been thought out. It's actually been considered of what is the path. It's been considered by the individuals that are guiding us on their planet and sending us all, and the light that's coming in, it's kind of sending us this beautiful high vibrational thoughts and thinking and understandings. And if you kind of think of it in this way, there has been a long time of us thinking in a negative direction of all the pain and the sadness and the sorrow and the hurting and the this and the scarcity and the lack and fear and all of this, right? There's been a long, long time of thinking that way. Because at some point, many, many hundreds, I think even thousands of years ago, we had been in a higher frequency on this planet. We had been in the fifth dimension in the days of Atlantis, in the days of Lemuria. I do whole videos on that, by the way. And then we gradually began to fall, gradually, and suddenly came that tipping point. And that tipping point was where enough of us that had fallen that the entire consciousness swooped in there. It swooped in there and took over. And pretty soon, the whole planet was third dimensional and stayed that way for many thousands of years. So now what we're looking at, what's happening, what's going on is, again, it's a reverse of the exact same thing. It's already happened. Okay, so now we just got to go the other way. We just got to take it the other way. So we have the divine light coming in. We have people like myself and other people sending out these beautiful fifth dimensional messages and energies and thoughts and ways of thinking and love and light and all that. And we got more and more and more of us, right? And they're going into this thing we call the collective consciousness, right? And at some point, as we send more and more and more and more and more and more people come on board, then finally we hit that tipping point in the other direction. And then the whole thing swoops in. Right? At that point, it's like a house of cards. The other thing crumbles down. We all realize who we really are as the divine sparks of the Creator. We all realize this has really been a game we've been playing. We all realize it's kind of like waking up from a nightmare. All of that stuff that happened, yes, it happened, but it wasn't the divine spark of God showing up like we are, like we now know we are. It was just really like, a reality that we had created, and now the house of cards came down. See, that's what happens when that whole tipping point is reached in like so much of that consciousness, and then suddenly a whole thing gets taken over by the love consciousness, by the joy, by the peace, by the fun, by the ease. And now you have little ones coming up, right? They're literally right now, those that are coming in now are coming into that new emerging consciousness. So they're not going to have to worry about trying to forget whatever happened, right? They're coming right into that new emerging consciousness. And then those of us, it begins to, over time, becomes more like a faded memory. It becomes a faded memory that it ever even could have been that way. Once that tipping point is reached and that whole thing swoops in, we almost hardly even believe it could have been that way. Now, this sounds insane, doesn't it? No, that can't be possible. But I'm going to tell you concrete personal experience. I have had parts of myself that were so big for me, like these, I would say, barriers or blocks, right? That was so big for me. One of them, I'll give you for instance, a concrete thing. I literally could not speak in 30 some odd years ago about anything except maybe the weather and this kind of stuff, because I had a nightmare in my head, was editing every thought, like am I saying the right thing? Did I say it correctly? Am I going to bother this one or bother that one? Or is this going to sound such and such a way and this and that? And by the time a conversation was going on and I'd gone through all that in my head, any thought I had to say, it was too late for that. And then they were on to the next thing. And then I had that all going about that. And, and this is how I lived my life at that time. And I had my breakthrough, right? Let's consider my breakthrough in seeing where that came from and getting it out of the way. That's the kind of work I just described to you a minute ago. Right, so I had my breakthrough and I got it all out of the way. Just as if kind of that equates to when we get the tipping point, right? And everybody kind of all at once like gets this huge, massive shift in consciousness, right? And suddenly that was gone. And well, you can see how I yap now. Some people say, stop talking. Some people say, you really don't say every word in your head. And it was gone. And now when I think back to it, I go, I hardly even can believe it was like that for me. But it was so big at the time. It was so enormous. Like in those days, I felt like I had like a lock on my jaw as to what I could say or not say. That was how I lived my life. And now it's gone completely. And I hardly even remember. It's a vague memory of some person that I used to be a long time ago that I hardly even remember who I was then. And so I promise you, this is possible. That's how it's going to be for each and every individual. And it's something to look forward to. So once we get there, by the way, then we don't have to worry about, the thoughts becoming things, because our thoughts will be all in the positive. This kind of gray area is the time we're in right now. It's like it's the area where we're trying to shift it. We don't want too much power. Like, so the higher we get in vibration, the more quickly our thoughts become things, by the way. It's like instantaneous manifestation when we get to fifth dimension. So this is the time where we want to be careful, that we're not throwing things out into the world that could manifest, willy-nilly kind of thing. That is not good stuff. We have to be watching what we're saying and how we're saying and all of that. So this is like that weird, awkward stage, where we're trying to get from point A to point B. And really you can equate that to the fourth dimension. See, that's why the fourth dimension is not really talked about much, because in the higher, as you move from third through the fourth dimension, yes, thoughts are becoming things, but you also have the ability to have a lot of negative thoughts in there. So that's why you don't want to put too much focus on that fourth dimension, because you can have thoughts becoming things like, this is the kind of thing that the devil was describing to Jesus, all the power you could have and all. And Jesus said, no, thank you very much. But thoughts do become things, but you don't have the love consciousness in there. And you're not going to like what those things are becoming. So you got to kind of walk a path where you're not throwing your power away, so to speak, creating things that really you don't want to create. So that's why this is an important time to be really on top of what we're thinking and what we're saying and all of that. Because, but when we get to 5D, you won't have to worry, because all thought out there, once we've hit the tipping point, all thought out there is going to be positive. You won't even hardly remember anymore any of those negative thoughts that we used to have, So this is something to look forward to. This is something exciting. And this is really how it's going to go. Just a reversal of how we fell in the first place is how we raise up. Okay, beloved ones, I'm going to go ahead and send you that beautiful fifth dimensional energies and thoughts, the love thoughts, the joy, the fun, the peace, the bliss, the harmony, the unity, the oneness. It's all coming at you now. Here it comes. Namaste. I honor the God in you.